Welcome to episode 46 of the Frenemies podcast. We have a good one for you today. We don't talk baseball often, really ever. We're talking baseball today. Carter stumbled upon a TikTok that ignited an idea of his that he's now fully on.
Fully invested.
Is Barry Bonds the greatest of all time over Babe Ruth? If you see Jack's face, Jack is for Babe Ruth. Carter's for Barry Bonds. Hunter's going to throw in Willie Mays at some point, I think.
I don't even know if I believe that, but I'd say me and Jake are like somewhat in the middle right now. Like I've looked at a few stuff, but I'd say we're fairly in the middle.
And Carter printed out crosswords.
Statistics, Jackson.
Crosswords.
It's gonna be a battle.
I guarantee you can't read that.
It's gonna be a battle mostly between Jack and Carter. Me and Jake will throw in as needed, but I'm very excited for this.
Before I can't get a word for the next hour, I would just like to say a quick little thing. Things are gonna get heated. Things will, for the first 20 minutes, will probably be numbers related, and then from there it's probably me character based. So once you get to that part, if you want to skip on through because you only want it for the sports, that's fine. If you think it's hilarious, which I think most people do, then you'll enjoy it.
Okay, I say we start with they each give their arguments. Maybe 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, and no, you can't interrupt or speak. So who would like to start?
Take it away.
No, you got the floor.
Rock, paper, scissors. No, rock, paper, scissors.
2 out of 3?
Decided. No, best of 1.
All right, I'll go first then.
Okay.
No, because we don't.
All right, you got 7 minutes. Can you do that?
He doesn't trust his rock,
Ladies
paper,
and
scissors game to win one game.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on, can you finish in 7 minutes?
Yes.
All right. 3,
Hold
2,
on, real quickly. If he said something egregious, like if he said something wrong,
It's like the opening arguments in a court.
Yeah.
no one would ever give Carter 7 minutes in an opening argument.
We're in the Miller and Smith court.
You can tell him what's wrong with his argument, and then you can start yours.
If he said something egregiously wrong, I'm going to
No,
tell
he
him.
gets,
tell him
no,
after.
he gets
You
an
can tell him
opening.
after.
You then have a rebuttal. Then your opening. He'll
Correct.
then have a rebuttal, and then we'll just.
Unless he says something statistically incorrect.
Ladies
All
and
right.
gentlemen,
Right.
there's no other way to say it. Barry Bonds is a fucking monster. Off the roids, on the roids, I don't care. Give me him. It is unjust that he is not in the Hall of Fame. He's the greatest baseball player we have ever seen.
No.
By far.
By far.
A lot. Statistically, I don't even really think it's that much close. Babe's up there. He's got some good statistics, but Barry Bonds just blows everything out of the water. The biggest argument and the only acceptable argument I will hear against Barry Bonds is his roids issue. I completely understand.
And that was what I said.
We want integrity of the game, correct?
That was my argument with it.
But here's the thing: Barry Bonds did not use steroids from 1986 until 1988. The only reason he used steroids is because he'd been absolutely nuking the league for years, right? Mark McGwire,
Yes,
Sammy
McGwire,
Sosa, they get all juiced up, and they go on the long gone summer, the race to 60. And Barry Bonds goes, okay, well, I'm going to show you what the best player in baseball looks like on the juice. And what does he do? He puts together the greatest 3-year stretch ever. He was on base 60% of the time. He batted in that stretch. Hold on. Let me find it here.
Way to be organized.
I am very organized. He batted. Oh, no, that's on base right here. 312, 336, and 311. No, I'm sorry. That was his greatest 3-year stretch in the pre-roid era. His greatest stretch during roids was 370, 341, and 362. Find me someone better than that. Wow, hitting nukes, just nukes. They were gone, and he was stealing the base, and he was fast. It was a power speed combo. First player ever to hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases in a single season. He, in fact, he took more at bat. He got on base more times than he had at bats. Now, that doesn't sound statistically possible, but it's the whole how baseball calculates it with the walks and stuff. He got on base 376 times and had 373 at-bats. That is absurd. That's unbelievable. He's a walking just single, at least, and then he just destroys balls. Like, they weren't just out of the field. They were out of the ballpark. It was gone. Thank you, Jake. Gone forever. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame, it enraged me then, because I do like the home run. I will admit, I'm biased towards it. But also,
Like your goal swing.
now, after all the statistical facts I've accumulated. Oh, by the way, he played defense too. I don't know if you guys know about that. He did, and Babe did not. Babe played zero defense.
Above average fielder.
Shush.
Statistically.
We could talk about it later.
Defense was above average.
Barry Bonds not only deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, he deserves his place as the head, as the signature star of the Mount Rushmore of baseball.
I'm gonna shake your hand. That was a good argument. I'm really excited for this one too.
That was like watching the 2020 presidential debate. That was awful. Babe Ruth is the greatest player to ever step in between the lines, to ever step in the diamond. He is the greatest baseball player ever. Not only that, I mean, I might start really aggressive here. He might be the GOAT of all GOATs. I'll tell you why. He saved the sport of baseball. Now, I'll get into statistics first, but Babe Ruth did save baseball. So let's talk about it. Career. Barry Bonds hit 50 more home runs than Babe Ruth. I'll give you that. Let's look at everything else. Batting average, Babe Ruth. On-base percentage, Babe Ruth. Slugging percentage, Babe Ruth. RBIs, Babe Ruth. And they played the same number of seasons. And Babe Ruth had every single statistical category higher than Barry Bonds, with the exception of home runs. Check your statistical sheets, I'm right. Secondly.
Walks, Barry Bonds, more.
Excuse me. He's talking.
Shush. Quiet. You can check, but you can't talk.
Oh, I know Carter's a big statistical guy, but he was just looking at RBIs, home runs, all that good stuff. You know what he wasn't looking at? I guarantee you, Carter Hip wasn't looking at advanced analytics. Let's look at WRC+. Let's look at WRC+ over a career. A WRC 100 is average, 150 is 50% above average. What was Babe Ruth's WRC+, which WRC+ is used to compare players against errors? Babe Ruth's was 197. 97% better than any baseball player. What was Barry Bonds over the course of his career? 173. Babe Ruth, exceptionally higher than almost any player to ever play the sport of baseball, and Barry Bonds. And that's to compare players against eras. Okay, that's one stat. Let's talk about another advanced stat that compares players against eras. WOBA, W-O-B-A. Babe Ruth's, 513. That's absurdly high. And WOBA is basically when a player gets on base, what are the chances they're going to calculate a run in for that team? What was Barry Bonds? We think it was 500? No. It was 435. Almost 70 points lower than Babe Ruth. So statistically, Babe Ruth is better in almost every single category with the exception of home runs and walks. And might I remind you, Barry Bonds' career 73 home run season, the best home run season ever, that was one of his roid seasons. Granted, Barry Bonds never takes the roids. He's a Hall of Famer, no doubt, but he did take the roids, and that's the biggest argument to Barry Bonds. And Barry Bonds' best career seasons, he was on steroids. Was Babe Ruth ever on steroids? No, he was on hot dogs and whiskey. And then one more thing about Babe Ruth. 22 seasons. Barry Bonds, 22 seasons. You know what Babe Ruth did that Barry Bonds never did? Babe Ruth was one of the best pitchers in the majors when he played for Boston. He had 94 wins, a 2.2 ERA. Barry Bonds never did that, and he never will. And on top of that, Babe Ruth had one of the greatest World Series records ever. Babe Ruth in the World Series pitched 29 and a third consecutive shutout innings. 29 and a third consecutive shutout innings as a pitcher. So not only was Babe Ruth arguably the greatest hitter of all time, which Babe Ruth hit 340, by the way. That's 10th all time. 340. He had a 2.2 ERA, was 6 wins away from 100 career wins, and pitched 29 in a third consecutive scoreless innings in the World Series. That held up for 40 years. 40 years. It's absurd. It's not even close. Babe Ruth is better all time than Barry Bonds. Honestly, there's not that high an argument to put Barry Bonds against Babe Ruth. It's Babe and it's not even close. How much time I got left?
You, sir, have 3 minutes.
Beautiful. Let's talk about the 1919 World Series. The Chicago Black Sox, the Black Sox scandal. They were playing the Cincinnati Reds, 1919. And honestly, I would argue that shoeless Joe Jackson is more deserving of the Hall of Fame than Barry Bonds because Joe Jackson never cheated the game. Only player on that Sox team that did not accept money. I will go to my grave saying that. For those that don't know, the Black Sox scandal, the White Sox, they threw the 1919 World Series to the Cincinnati Reds and got a ton of money from bettors because bettors put the house on the Reds to win the World Series. At the time of 1919, there was no basketball, there was no football in America. Baseball was its peak, and baseball has been played since the 1800s. Baseball was the peak of American sports. After 1919, baseball fell off a cliff. No one had any reason to watch it. And then Babe Ruth comes along, this not just a generational player, a once in a sport player, not once in a lifetime, once in a sport. Babe Ruth got to the point where he was sitting 6% of the league's home runs. There were times when Babe Ruth had more home runs than every single team in the majors. You put any single team's home run total against Babe Ruth had a higher home run total. Barry Bonds never came close to that. Babe Ruth did. Multiple seasons. And that rejuvenized the baseball fan base and allowed baseball to become the sport it was today. Without Babe Ruth, baseball probably dies in darkness, and we don't have the major leagues today. Barry Bonds never saved baseball. He cheated baseball. That's my argument.
That's a good ending.
I'll shake it here.
Thank
Sure,
you.
Carter's.
Actually, hold on, real quick. One more thing I'd like to add on. There are probably 3 players that are not in the Hall of Fame that most baseball fans would argue should be in the Hall of Fame. That's Barry Bonds, Pete Rose, and shoeless Joe Jackson. I'll go on record right now and say Joe Jackson and Pete Rose are 1,000 times more deserving of the Hall of Fame than Barry Bonds.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Carter, rebuttal.
Babe Ruth absolutely saved baseball. But let's switch to a field that you guys are very familiar with. Mm-hmm. Who is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Who saved basketball?
No one.
No, that's not true. That's
No
not
one.
true.
No one saved basketball.
Ratings were plummeting.
No,
The NBA would
the
still.
ABA
The NBA would
No,
still be.
Jackson,
The NBA would still
see,
be in
now that's
existence.
what-
Nope.
that's where I got
You're
to
telling me the NBA would be out of existence?
Yep.
But yeah.
Yes.
Out of existence.
Yes.
The
They
NBA
were
was falling
plummeting.
apart until
Who?
the 80s happened.
Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
Yes.
I don't know if out of existence, but I mean,
The
It was falling
ratings,
apart. No,
yeah.
I think they saved basketball as much as.
Yes, you
Babe
can
Ruth
go
saved
watch the
baseball.
documentary produced by ESPN. They produce a whole thing on how when the ABA and the NBA at that time combined saved the whole thing. They needed 2 stars, Larry and Magic. Larry Bird and
Hold
Magic
on. What'd you
Johnson,
say?
They saved it. They saved it.
2 stars.
2 stars.
2 players. It took 2 players. It took baseball 1.
Okay. Whatever. They're 2 great players. Are Larry Bird and Magic Johnson top 10, top 5?
top 5, top 10.
Yes.
Easily.
Okay. Are they the greatest though because they saved basketball?
No.
No. See.
That's not my argument. I'm adding that on
You
top
just-
of my
you
argument.
just
I'm
spent
saying
like 2
Babe Ruth
minutes that he saved
statistically.
baseball.
I'm
It's
saying
like-
Babe Ruth
it's
statistically.
not the Keiko's argument. It's more of a cherry.
I'm saying Babe Ruth statistically is better than Barry Bonds, and then on top of that, saved an entire sport.
Statistically,
God, scared me, Jake.
Is that the timer?
some of
You're
those
saying
facts
it's now
that were stated were wrong.
Which one? They were all correct.
Barry Bonds total career hits 2,935.
I never said Barry Bonds had. I never said Babe Ruth had more hits than.
But we just said.
I never said that. I
you
said
just
he had
said
a-
every
I-
statistical category.
I didn't. I said Babe Ruth had a higher batting average, a higher on base percentage, a higher slugging percentage, and more RBIs.
He didn't have more.
He did have more RBIs. Babe Ruth had 2,200 RBIs.
Oh, no, you're right. You're
Barry
right.
Bonds
No, you're
had
absolutely right.
1,900
No, you're absolutely right. I read the
RBIs.
wrong line. Absolutely.
I've yet to give an incorrect stat.
Okay.
You have given
well,
at
no,
least
you
3.
just said.
You did say every
as
statistical
soon as
category,
stat,
but
which is just wrong.
that
What do you
I've
mean by that?
named.
Which is just wrong.
That I've named.
Also,
I gave you home runs.
defensively, Barry Bonds is a. Let me just make sure I have.
7-time Gold Glove winner.
Yes. Babe Ruth
I know your
is
stats more than
0.
you do.
No, that's,
They didn't have the Gold Glove back then. Also, Babe Ruth
No,
is a
that's simply not
Babe
true.
Ruth is a
That's
one-time.
simply not
Hold on,
true.
Babe Ruth has won 1 MVP in his career. You know why that is? Because they only gave out 1 MVP back then. You could only win it once. That's the reason why Barry Bonds has excessively more MVPs than Babe Ruth does. Not to mention, Barry Bonds was an absolute catastrophe in the playoffs. He was a horrible playoff player. Horrible.
So here's my other argument too. Okay, so we're gonna call Barry Bonds a terrible playoff player, which I think is hilarious.
I don't
which
think
I
it
just
is.
think is wrong. Is deeply wrong. But Babe Ruth, and I'm not saying. By the way, I'm not saying he's not a great player, but it's similar to Bill Russell, and he played with little teams, and his team
Here it
was
is.
loaded.
It's your only argument.
No, I'm addressing this argument against you. Not a lot of teams. All his players, he had a loaded team. So, and it's the same thing with Mike Trout. We can't judge the individual success of a player based on their team's success in baseball because it takes, unless he hits a home run every pitch, which we have never seen and never will see, it's hard for a single player
to win a baseball game.
to win a baseball game.
All right, so that's fine. Let's talk about WAR, wins above replacement.
See,
Babe
so
Ruth had a
that's the
higher.
problem. That's
Babe
the other
Ruth had a
problem,
higher.
too. That's the
Babe
other
Ruth had a
problem, too.
higher wins above
That's the other
replacement than
problem I
Barry
have-
Bonds.
That's the other problem I have too.
How is that a problem? That's a stat.
Is advanced stats.
That's not even an advanced stat. That's just wins above
That is an
replacement.
advanced stat. That is an absolutely advanced stat. Let's look at the at bats.
WOBA and WRC plus are advanced stat. WAR is not an advanced stat.
Let's look at home runs. He was intentionally.
All right, that's fine. Hold on.
600 times.
Hold on.
600.
So hold on. If you're gonna use the home run argument that Barry Bonds would have more home runs, I'm gonna use that exact same argument because I didn't think that was fair, so I wasn't gonna use it because Barry Bonds was walked an excessive amount of times. Babe Ruth played pitcher for half a decade and never gotten at bat, so Babe Ruth wasn't hitting home runs until almost 5-6 years into his career. So you can't even use that argument.
That's fine.
Because if Babe Ruth had those, hold on.
If you want to
hold
compare
on.
on
Because if
individuals,
Babe Ruth had those 5-6 seasons, he's the all-time home run leader by probably over 100 home runs.
but no.
He would be over. It probably.
Okay. So if you want to say that, that's fine. But we're not playing what ifs. We're playing what actually.
You just
happened.
played what ifs with the 600 walks.
No, I didn't. I said he was intentionally walked 600 times.
And you're saying he would have had more home runs.
No, I'm
So
not saying
Babe
that.
Ruth would have had
I'm
more
not
home
saying
runs
that.
if he started his career
I'm saying
earlier.
the fact of the matter is, if you're walking someone 600 times as a major league manager, you know how much fear? Do you know how much fear? Do you know how? What is the second close? Let's hear. What is the second closest person to be intentionally walked that much? Do you know the difference between the first and second place between Barry Bonds and everyone else?
I'm going to say 200,
250,
100, 300.
500.
Just shallow that. 275. 275 times is the difference. Okay, then let's look at an individual season. I'll give you the fact that Barry Bonds' best home run season was 2001-73. Everyone knows. Does he have a season that approaches 60 with off roids like Babe Ruth? Absolutely not. But if you want to look at that season and just in a game in general,
What if I don't want to look at the Royd season?
no, I'm saying if you want to look at Babe Ruth's best season, 60 home runs, he had 7 stolen bases, he struck out 89 times, he had 144 bases on balls, walks, 153 RBIs, 184 hits, generated 139 runs on 495 at bats and 152 games played. Okay?
So 10 less games than Bonds.
So let's
good ball
pick
player.
No, that's not true. Let's pick Barry Bonds' best season
Off Royds.
off roids, which I would argue close. I would argue you could either do the 1996 season or the 1993 season. 1996 season, he became the first player in MLB history.
So no one else did it before.
No one else, and I don't know if anyone else has done it since. 40 home runs and 40 steals. See, and here's the problem. You said it earlier. Babe Ruth did this all on cigars and hot dogs. That little penguin waddling around the bases.
No, that's unfair. That's
career-
unfair. Stop. That's unfair right there.
The career
That's unfair
high
right
was
there.
17.
That's unfair right there because you can't call Babe Ruth a little waddling penguin because that's one of the biggest stereotypes about Babe Ruth. He was not a fat, overweight baseball player the majority of his career.
So why doesn't he have 40 steals?
No one stole back then, and I'll tell you this: Babe Ruth was also caught stealing, probably I think the most in baseball, at least percentage-wise. His percentage caught stealing was horrible, but he stole more than anybody in his generation. He even ended a World Series getting caught thrown out at second. He stole more than anyone in his generation. I'm not saying that's a good thing.
So we're gonna fault him for his coach calling a steal.
That's not what I'm saying, Carter. Babe Ruth stole more than anybody in his generation of baseball. Barry Bonds stole a normal amount of times in his generation of baseball.
Did anyone else get there?
Yeah, actually, sorry, Carter, I don't mean to just poke holes in the argument, but Jose Canseco actually reached the 40-40 mark earlier in 1988.
Oh, he did.
Another statistical fallacy from Carter Hip.
Are you serious? Wait, hold on.
He is serious. Now, let me take the argument back to my place here.
42 home runs and 40 stolen bases. Jose Canseco.
Oh, other league. Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. That's completely on me. He was the first person in the National League. Okay, my bad.
So,
But even if we take, let's just go back.
The first 40-40 in the NL.
Yes. Okay. And the second overall.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And one of four.
Jose could have been on roids, but
Anyway,
go on. Sorry.
so then we're gonna look at
He was
this.
on roids.
We're gonna look at this. We can look at this season. He played in less games than Babe Ruth. He had 5 more at bats. He generated 19 more runs, had 20 more hits.
So these are minuscule differences. Like, I'm sorry, these are very,
I'm
very
just
small
saying,
differences.
outside of home runs,
So you're
Barry
giving him-
Bonds' third best season is better than Babe Ruth's best.
So you're giving him a one-season comparison where Barry Bonds is slightly better. Slightly.
In his third best season. If you want to go best for best, it's
No,
not
because that's
even
Royds.
close.
Because that's Royds. All right, Carter. You
Okay,
hold on.
so
No,
second
hold
best
on. Hold on.
season.
Let me. No. You had your floor. Let me take it. You're talking regular season. Let's talk the important season, the postseason. Let's go over Barry Bonds in the postseason.
We just,
Who was
we
a,
just
no, we didn't
address this.
No, we did not. We did not address this. Barry Bonds in the postseason, for his stature as a regular season player, he's a catastrophe in the postseason. His career in the postseason, he hit 245. He had 37 hits, only 9 home runs,
How many times was he
less
in the
than
postseason?
30 RBIs, only 24.
How many times was Bonds in the postseason?
48 games.
Okay.
Let's go over to Babe Ruth, who played in, let me remind you right here, played in less postseason games than Barry Bonds did. Played in 7 less postseason games than Barry Bonds did. Babe Ruth had a batting average of 326. That is 81 points higher than Barry Bonds. 81 points. He had 42 hits. That's 5 more hits than Barry Bonds in 7 less games. He had 15 home runs in the playoffs in his career. That's 6 more than Barry Bonds in 7 less games. He also had 33 RBIs, 37 runs, and he did all of that in 41 games in his postseason career. Not to mention 29 and a third consecutive outs. Or I'm sorry, 29 and a third consecutive shutout innings in the World Series. Contributed more than Barry Bonds ever has in a playoff series. Ever. By far.
Was
By far.
intentionally walked 110 times in postseason play.
So he put
According
48
to
games,
whatever
potentially
website I was
walked
just on.
110 times.
He still hit 245. So when they threw to him, he wasn't getting hits. He hit 245. That's awful.
Jackson, he was walked 110
He
times.
hit 245. Walks
He's-
don't count
that
against
is the mo-
average.
that- if
Walks
you-
don't count against average. He hit
It
245.
doesn't matter if you're the most.
It does
if,
matter.
if you're on base that much. If you're the most valuable player by that margin, that they are just they would rather have you on base than throw the ball to you.
Okay, hold on. So if he was walked that many times, he only scored 33 runs in the playoffs. Babe Ruth scored 37.
Okay, so let me just make sure I have this right. Because he was walked and then his teammates didn't hit him in, we're gonna blame Barry Bonds.
Yeah, because if Barry Bonds isn't getting hits, what's he doing? He's not helping his team win. What did he do in the postseason to help his team win? No, what did he do?
Do you
Babe Ruth is
understand?
better in every
Like,
single
am I-
statistical
am I
category.
talking French?
You're not talking
Okay,
baseball.
Okay, hold on. He was walked 110 times. 111. So he gets on first. His teammates fail to hit the ball into play where he can run around. I'm just picturing in my mind. Here he comes, running around second, rounding
I'm with
third,
you,
going
yeah.
home. But because his teammates didn't do that, Barry Bonds is punished.
Barry Bonds hit 245 and never stepped on the mound in the playoffs.
What did Ruth hit?
326. Plus 81 differential.
And that's definitely fair. I'm just saying, if you're walked 111 times, and what was it? How many games did he play? 48 postseason games?
What?
How far are we in?
How many times-
I want to get to Willie, too. Because I feel like you have a decent argument for Willie, too.
But Willie's all you. I put all my time and effort into Babe Ruth here. So he's not even prepared. I've taken him down in every stat, and now he's got to look up new things to try to
That's
defend
not
his
true.
argument.
You didn't like my stats when I gave you his
What
third
stats?
best season was better than Babe's.
So one season over 22.
No,
It's one season over 22 seasons.
Babe's greatest season was not as good as Barry's second greatest season.
Third.
Third greatest season.
Third off the roids. It's his best season off the roids.
No, it's his second best season off the roids.
That's fine, but the difference is so small, and you don't judge a GOAT by one season. You judge a GOAT by a career, and it's Babe Ruth and by
You
a
can
mile.
normally judge the GOAT by his best season.
And I could not disagree with that more. You're gonna judge a GOAT by one season. Barry Bonds played 22 seasons, but we're gonna pick one season and say that's the greatest baseball player to ever play.
Yeah, everyone's got that moment.
Moment?
Not saying that you just have to have one good
Over a
season.
22-year career, Babe hit 341,
Then
10th all
why
time.
isn't LeBron the GOAT if he's had a longer career than Michael Jordan and better statistics?
This isn't a baseball episode.
See, that's
This
the
is a
problem.
baseball
No,
episode.
that's the
It's
problem.
not the problem.
That is the
No,
problem.
this-
Is we're not gonna
No.
We're not gonna flip flop the line here. Either he was good over a long time, or he's good. His peak is the best, and Barry Bonds' peak is unmatched. He is simply the greatest.
This is how I know I won the argument. You brought LeBron into it. You
That's
lost, so
not
you brought
true.
LeBron
That's
into
not
it.
true.
You lost, so you brought
That's
LeBron
not
into
true.
it.
That's
It is
not
true
true at all.
because you lost all
That's
your
not
arguments.
true.
Your
That's not
only
true.
shot was
That's not
LeBron
true.
James.
That's not true.
You are now
I'm
banking on
bringing-
LeBron
Nope,
James to
nope,
save
nope,
your
nope,
argument.
nope, nope,
That's
nope,
how
nope,
bad
nope.
your argument is.
Nope.
That you're bringing
Nope.
LeBron
Nope.
James
Nope.
into it.
Because you don't have an answer.
This is a baseball episode. Barry Bonds versus Babe Ruth.
No,
Your
it's a
argument
GOAT
was so
episode.
poor
It's a
and
GOAT
so
episode.
flawed.
It's
No,
a
it's
GOAT
not.
episode.
It is a Barry Bonds versus Babe Ruth
Okay,
episode.
let's go
And your
football.
argu-
Let's go football.
You're-
Who
we're not.
speaks better?
We're
Who
not.
speaks better? Tom Brady.
He's bringing in another sport. This was a Barry Bonds versus Babe Ruth episode. You knew that. You lost. You are now bringing in LeBron James
That's not
because
true.
all of your
Then
statistical
answer my
analysis were
freaking question.
fallacies.
Then answer my freaking question.
No, because it's a baseball episode.
No, answer my question about baseball.
Look.
peak or career, because I try to put it in different terms because you just avoid the question. And then you attack that, and then you character analyze it instead of looking at the freaking
Character
stats.
analysis it?
You analyze, you assassinate my character instead of.
What
looking
am I
at it.
assassinating
You
your
just
character?
Did. You just did because I tried to put it in simpler terms for you because clearly you don't.
You brought in another
that
sport.
Barry Bonds' peak is the greatest of all time.
No.
Same as every other GOAT in every other sport. Same as Michael Jordan's. Same as Tom Brady's. It's the same thing. They are the peak. At the peak, they are the GOAT, and that makes them the GOAT.
I'm pretty sure Peyton Manning and Patrick Mahomes have higher peaks than Tom Brady. They both threw over 50 touchdowns in a season. Unless they're obviously not better.
Tom Brady's peak is the greatest peak of all time we've ever seen at the quarterback position.
No, because if you're just
Same thing
you're
with
talking
Michael
singular
Jordan.
season.
Same thing with
you're
Michael
talking
Jordan.
singular season.
I'm talking peak. I'm talking peak.
So that's not peak. That's singular season.
Would Babe Ruth's best singular season be in his peak?
Yes.
Okay. So
But that's not what you're talking about. You just said that was singular
not
season.
Barry Bonds' peak is better than Babe Ruth's best season in his peak. What are we talking about?
Because Babe Ruth did more than just bat.
Barry
That's what makes him the greatest of all
Barry
time.
Bonds has like way more Golden Gloves.
That's great.
So what is this more than bat?
Babe Ruth was a lumpy fielder that hit bombs, won his team World Series. Also, Babe Ruth is a 7-time World Series champ. You know who isn't? LeBron James, but also Barry Bonds.
Okay. To answer this question,
What question?
I'll tell you why Babe Ruth.
Wait, hold on. Well, I'm so lost in your train of thought. What question are we on?
No, we're answering it because clearly.
What question are we answering?
You just avoided the statistical answer again.
What's the question?
So then you go. By the way, Babe Ruth's a 7-time World Series champ.
What's the question?
Okay, let's name some of Babe Ruth's teammates.
Time out. What's the question? You just had to
Why-
answer this question, and you
To answer the question on why Babe Ruth has more postseason success than Barry Bonds, it's because he played with a good team.
No, it's not. Babe Ruth did not hit 81 points higher than Barry Bonds because his team was better. He hit 81 points higher because Babe Ruth was better.
If Babe Ruth played with 8 other Jakes on the roster and he hit that, is he winning a World Series?
Probably.
No offense, Jake. Is he winning? He's winning a World Series with 8 Jakes.
If he's hitting 326 in his career and then he's throwing 29 consecutive scoreless innings, I like my odds. I love my odds,
Are we
actually.
hearing this correctly?
We are hearing this. This is a World Series record.
I'm a solid ball player.
Babe and the James. Jake would figure it out eventually. After like the 6 or 7 World Series. I think
Yeah,
he
if,
could
if I'm there a
contact.
lot, at some point get like a butt down. Sorry, go on.
Like he said, a loss of words.
That's you're telling me that you would take Babe Ruth and Jake and 8 Jakes over professional baseball teams to win a World Series.
I'm taking the guy.
In a best of 7.
I'm not taking a team here. I'm taking the greatest player of all time, and I'm taking the guy that hit 81 points higher than Barry Bonds did in his postseason career. That's just me personally. Because that completely takes out walks. Because walks don't.
But that's not the
walks don't
argument,
affect your average.
Jackson. But that's
then
not
what
the
the hell's
argument.
the argument? Because the argument is not
No,
who had the better
your
teammates.
argument
The
was-
argument's who's the best player.
No, your argument was who won the World Series 7 times, and
That wasn't an argument. That was just a cherry. I just added that on.
said that, and I'm saying that doesn't matter if you don't have good teammates. You can't win by yourself.
He's trying to take.
I don't
he's trying to
disagree.
take the cherry off.
Dude, I made a really nice cake, and you took off my cherry.
No, I'm saying that's fine. I have nothing to say for postseason averages.
So
that's
the cherry stays.
That's completely
I get my
true.
cherry?
That's completely true.
'Cause my
But
cake's
the
up
fact
here.
is that Barry Bonds' on base percentage is also way
Carter's
higher.
cake is
It's
smeared
also
across
way
the floor.
higher than Babe Ruth. In fact, it's the highest in history.
That's great.
And so if he's walked more times, he's doing his job. Now, did he hit as well as he could have? No. But if he's walked more,
Walks
if he's walked
Do
more,
not affect batting averages.
I know.
No, you don't.
Listen to what you're not
No,
listening.
I
You're
am
not listening to what I'm saying.
You're not listening to what you're saying.
Who is more valuable? The person
Babe Ruth.
the person who gets on base 100 times or 50?
Well, considering Babe Ruth's batting average career was 43 higher than Barry Bonds, I'm going to take Babe Ruth
So why was Barry Bonds' on base percentage higher?
because he got walked, because he took the roids.
You see this flip flop you're doing?
No. I honestly don't.
That's the problem then.
No, it's not a problem.
That is the problem.
You don't
then.
understand what you're saying.
Yes, I do. Statistically, I will take the player that gets on base more and hits the ball farther more times. And Barry Bonds did both.
No, he didn't. Just straight up, he didn't.
Okay.
Babe Ruth hit the ball more times.
Here we go again.
And Babe Ruth.
No, that's a lie right there. 2,870
Batting average!
for Babe Ruth. Oh,
Batting
no,
average.
What did he just say? Did he just say hit the ball more times?
Because he had a higher batting average.
But that
If you take those two players and put them to play, who has a chance to get a hit, a higher chance of getting a hit? It's Babe Ruth.
Who has a higher chance of getting on base?
Barry Bonds.
Who is the more valuable player then?
Babe Ruth.
This is why
Okay,
you're never going to be a
okay.
manager.
So this is where it gets interesting.
And-
So
and
you-
this
you
is- and
think
this is
that
not-
batting average could be more important.
And
while
this
you
is
think
not
just
even
overall.
no.
Getting on base.
And this is
No, that's not my argument to why Babe Ruth
This
is
isn't
the GOAT.
even this is even counting the roids era because he just can't do that. Which I have a
Oh,
great
here we go.
I have a great problem with that because
Oh, my
is it
goodness.
cheating if everyone does it?
Yes.
Is it?
That's literally in my
Is it
math
though?
teacher's classroom.
Is it
Do the-
cheating if everyone does it? Because Lance Armstrong won the Tour de France. I know you don't like the other sports comparisons, but it's the same situation.
The fact that you brought three other sports, including cycling, into this argument
because
is
you
just
clearly
incredible.
can't understand the
It's
facts.
just incredible.
You clearly can't understand the facts. So
What
I have to.
facts?
The fact is
All of your stats have been
everyone else
fallacies.
is doing it. It means everyone's on the same playing field.
What happens if Babe took roids?
You know what's
Hold
funny?
on, let's
Babe
actually-
Ruth never took roids, but this is actually really Actually, this might hurt my argument, but I don't care because it's one of my favorite Babe Ruth stories.
I think what you're gonna say. His
sheep?
addiction to prostitutes.
No, this is much different. Babe Ruth tried.
No, babe.
Now, all right. So I'm gonna right off. I can't confirm for sure if this is true, but this is one of the most legendary Babe Ruth folk tales. And if honestly, Carter, if you did your research, you would have called me out on this. Babe Ruth tried to take extract, and I swear this is a real Babe Ruth folk tale. He tried to take extract from sheep testicles and inject it into his veins to become a better ball player.
See,
Now, if you did your research, you would have called me out.
No, I wouldn't call you out because I don't care if everyone else is doing it.
See, but no one was doing that. That just would have been Babe. But you didn't do your research.
Okay, but everyone was doing it in Barry Bonds there, and yet he's still being penalized. Yes, exactly. So why are we going to penalize the guy that was nuking the league for 10 years, never got any credit? He has a Hall of Fame career in 8 years.
Would've.
No,
Would've.
he did.
Would've.
He had two
But he
Hall of
cheated
Fame
the game of
careers in
baseball.
one.
No, he would've.
No, he didn't.
No, he
I
would've.
think Carter's point
But he
is that if
would've.
everyone else is taking roids, then he's just playing other people with roids, so it's an even playing field. I think what Carter's trying to say.
How many
So
people
so
took
he
roids in
hits.
that era?
So what?
How many people took roids in that era?
Everyone.
I want to see if there's a stat on that.
And here's my other problem is Barry Bonds is doing, the 42 and 40, the 40 and 37, 46 29, 33 52. He stole 52 stolen bases in one season.
Was it the 90s when
No,
Bonds played? Or the 80s?
80s and 90s. 86 to 90.
When did he start taking roids?
He took roids after the 98 season because 98, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, they get all
98?
juiced up.
Okay.
They start hitting bombs, right? So they're going for 60. In 1998, he has 37 and 28 with let me make sure 167 hits. So like that's an MVP season.
80% of players use steroids.
It's like, what are we talking about? and then here's my other question: if everyone's as good as him, why, when he took roids, did he have the best 3-season? I'd argue 4 peak of all time. He had the best batting average of all time for 3 seasons, the best on
3
base
seasons.
percentage, the most home runs,
3 seasons.
the most.
3 seasons. Over a career, it's Babe Ruth.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
That's the problem.
What,
It's
do you
not.
want me to read them again?
You can read
Is this
the
falling on
stats
deaf
again.
ears?
But,
Hold on, stop.
But my
Please.
total hits, my total base on ball, my total on base percentage is just completely ignored because
No, your on base percentage. Babe Ruth's on base percentage is 30 points higher in a career. Look it up right now. Look at your statistical sheets. Tell me I'm wrong. Because you just said Barry Bonds had an higher on base percentage, and that's just flat out not true.
No, I'm not talking about career.
You just
I'm talking
did!
about peak. I'm talking about peak.
Oh my heavens. They both played 22 years, and you're going to give them 3 years. Babe Ruth is better than everything else over the career.
See, and that's your
issue.
That's where the argument. That is my issue because is it career? Is it career or is it peak?
It's career.
So then why aren't we consistent?
We are.
So then once again, you know where I'm
I've
about
yet
to go
to
with
argue
this.
someone.
No, you do all the time. Michael Jordan's peak is greater than LeBron's. It's the same thing in sports, and that's the problem.
Stop.
Is you're not
Freeze.
consistent.
Stop.
Be consistent.
Rewind the video 10 minutes. I never agreed to any of that. I said you do not grade the greatest player of all time by a peak. I said you don't.
You don't grade it by peak.
No, I never said that. I specifically made that argument against it 10 minutes ago.
So then Babe Ruth shouldn't be your GOAT either, because I guarantee he doesn't have the best statistics of all time.
Compared to every other player in baseball, he does. Find me a player all around that has better statistics than Babe Ruth. Find him. Show him to me, and I will get down on one knee.
See, well, and you're saying all statistics, and it's not. That's also a lie. Barry Bonds has more hits. We went over this already.
Oh my gosh.
Does Babe Ruth have some?
Where's Barry Bonds rank on the batting average?
All time?
Yeah.
He's not even a career 300 hitter.
He's 13.
I don't think that's
No,
right.
I'm sorry, Babe.
Babe?
Babe is 13.
No, Babe's 11th. Or 10th, I
11th?
think.
Okay.
I know, Babe is 10th. Babe is 10th all time at 343. Barry Bonds
Correct.
is not a career 300 hitter.
The highest was 360. Holy crap.
Who had 360 career?
Ty Cobb.
Where'd Ted Williams hit all time?
Ted Williams was tied for
Barry Bonds
244.
hit 298.
I just said that. Was not a career 300 hitter.
You didn't say the exact number.
I said he was not a career 300 hitter. Babe Ruth
You
was
didn't say the exact
343.
number, Jackson. What are we
That's-
arguing about
Well,
right
that's
now?
great. You didn't even know his batting average coming into the day.
Top 100?
I just told him what his batting was. What?
You forgot it.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
You just
Alright,
looked it
no,
up.
No.
Oh.
I looked. Actually, the last thing I looked up was Babe Ruth's teammates.
The last thing I looked up was barbers in the area.
It's just no. I'm sorry. I'm taking the freaking behemoth of a man who just
Babe?
destroyed the league for years. No,
Babe.
Barry Bonds.
Babe destroyed the league for decades.
No.
No, Babe was legit hitting more home runs than entire teams were.
Okay. First of all, we're not going to do that with the teams because that's
We are.
we're
'Cause
that's
if you're gonna say,
era.
if you're gonna say,
If you
because
wanna-
if you're
if
gonna,
you
because
wanna
no,
say-
no,
if
no,
you wanna-
let me talk. No,
if
you
you
cut me off
want to
for
say
everyone.
Babe's
No.
hitting more home runs than everyone else, that's completely fine. But guess what?
He's hitting more
buddy?
home runs than
So
every
was
team.
freaking Barry
no,
Bonds.
that's not true. Babe Ruth was hitting more than every team. Barry Bonds wasn't.
Yeah, but the amount of home runs hit when Babe Ruth played was like
That's
hundreds.
That's
less
why
than
Babe Ruth
Barry
is the
Bonds played.
greatest. Because
No.
he revolutionized the game of baseball. He got
No,
fans
see,
back
we're
into
not
baseball.
doing this.
Because
That's
Babe
what
Ruth-
we're not doing.
Babe Ruth was
we're
never
not
seen
calling
before.
people who saved the sport because it's in times of trouble and lack of interest because they're the one star, the GOATs. We're not doing that. We're going.
I'm
off
not. That's not my
statistical-
argument. That was never my
You
argument.
just
Carter.
said it.
It's
you
a
just
cherry.
said revolutionized the sport and brought it back.
Jackson, you are using a lot of cherries.
How many cherries? Is this a cherry
what's the
pie?
cake?
What is the cake?
The cake, give me 1 second. The cake is the career batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage, RBI,
And I guarantee
50
you-
home
and I
runs, and
guarantee
50
you-
home runs shorter.
So why isn't Ty Cobb the GOAT?
Because Ty Cobb's not better in those categories.
Yes, he is. He's better average.
Not all.
batting
For batting average. Great.
So why isn't
How
he the
many-
GOAT then, Jackson?
How many home runs Ty Cobb hit? What was Ty Cobb's career
How
ERA?
many home runs did
What was
Babe
Ty
Ruth
Cobb's
hit?
career win-loss percentage?
We're not talking about pitcher,
What was Ty Cobb's
Jackson.
career WRC
We're not
plus?
talking about pitcher. We're talking about the greatest baseball player of all time.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
forgot pitchers don't play baseball.
No,
that's on me.
It's a
That's
completely
on me.
different argument.
So sorry, that's
it's
on me.
a completely different
Apologize.
argument. It's a completely different argument.
Frenemies Nation, that's on me.
It's a
I
completely
forgot
different argument.
pitchers don't play baseball. That's on me.
Do positions players pitch?
Babe was second all time RBIs. Barry was 6. Albert Pujols was 3.
Pujols is a GOAT. He's up there. He's elite.
Is Pujols better than Barry Bonds?
No. Barry Bonds is a top 5 player all time.
Yes.
So
Barry Bonds is the best.
listen. We've talked our stats. We've talked our ideas. It's very clear to everyone who's listened today that Babe Ruth
No,
is the
because
greatest
actually,
baseball
no.
player
Hold
of
on.
all
I need to
time.
make one more point.
Can
'Cause
I,
I just want
say
to.
one quick thing?
I just want to read the roid season because Jack knows. Jack knows.
Can I just talk about the roids that he took? It's actually quite incredible what he's putting in his body. Two steroids referred to as the cream and the clear.
Yes,
as well
his
as
trainer
insulin,
told him that it
human
was-
growth hormone, testosterone decatenate, also known as Mexican beans, and trebobaleone to improve muscle quality of cattle.
Oh wow.
Impressive.
Okay.
Basically taking like.
I just want to read.
You know what Babe Ruth took?
When Barry
Whiskey.
When Barry Bonds played on the same playing field as everyone else during
Oh my
his era,
gosh.
this is what he did to
Oh my
the
gosh.
league. In 3 seasons, he hit 370, 341, 362. He had an on-base percentage of. Just make sure I'm in the right column here. I don't even know. 582, 529, and 609. The highest in MLB history.
Mm-hmm.
He had a slugging percentage of 812, 749, 799. An OPS of 138.1, which is second highest only besides himself at
Hold on.
one.
Do you know what OPS means?
Yes. Do you?
What's it mean?
Do you want me to read you the exact definition?
Right now. What's OPS mean? No. Right now. Right now.
read you the
Read me
exact
OPS.
definition.
No,
I got you.
because you don't know what it is.
No,
you
that's
don't know
not
what
true.
OPS is.
I'm gonna
Then
read you
read
the
it.
exact
No, then read
definition.
it. Read it right now.
I'm gonna read you the
right
exact
now.
definition.
You don't know
Why?
what OPS
Because
is?
it's better than Babe's?
Read OPS right now. Read it.
I'm going to read it to you. The
without
exact
looking.
definition.
Tell the audience what OPS is.
The exact definition.
No.
Yep, I am.
You should know what OPS
so everyone
is.
at home
What is
knows
OPS?
the exact
You don't know
definition.
it.
No, I
You
do.
know what OPS is.
I do, but clearly you do not.
You're gonna tell me what Barry? No. You're gonna tell me Barry Bonds is the GOAT. You don't know what an OPS is.
On base plus slugging.
I know.
Mister.
He didn't know that.
The dictionary defines it as the
I don't either. I wanted you to
slugging
define
is
it.
a subjective baseball statistic calculated as the sum of a player's on-base percentage and slugging percentage.
So you didn't know what the OPS was?
No, I did.
You sat here and tried to tell
I
the
did.
entire
The ability
audience
of players
that Barry
both to
Bonds
get
was
on
the
base
greatest
and
baseball
hit-
player of all
hit
time,
for power.
and you don't know what an
Two and four
OPS
offensive
is.
skills are represented. Yes, I did know what it is, and thank
just
you for
proved-
reading
I
the
think you
definition.
just proved my point.
No, I
Because you didn't know what an
and
OPS was.
and he had the best percentage of that. Yes, I did. Exactly. Thank you very much.
Honest to God, he didn't know what an OPS was. Before
Yes,
just
I
now.
did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
100% I did. Oh, and also, by the way,
100% you didn't.
intentional bases on ball, the largest amount in MLB history, 120. Thank you very much. The greatest peak of all time. He's the greatest player. He is, in fact, a fucking monster.
I would actually
Take Barry Bonds over anyone else. I will take that. I will take prime Barry Bonds. I will take his career. I will take whatever. It is a travesty that he's not in the Hall of Fame.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna start going around asking people who's the best baseball player of all time.
He didn't
I'm
know.
actually curious.
He didn't know what an OPS was. Anyways, look, yeah, far and behold,
I did know what
far
an
and
OPS
away,
was.
it's not even close. Babe Ruth is the GOAT. I got one more point I'd like to bring up here. Barry Bonds is not even the greatest San Francisco Giant of all time.
Oh my God.
Let me give
That's
you
not even
the
close.
say hey
That's not
kid,
even
listen,
close.
Willie Mays.
Reddit does say Willie Mays is one. Reddit doesn't lie a lot. And a lot of the lists I've looked at, Barry Bonds is around 5 or 6. Like there was a lot of people ahead of Barry Bonds.
I guarantee if you went around our humble abode of Medina and asked people, I guarantee.
Do you think most people say Barry
4
Bonds?
or 5
We should
would
say
say
like
Barry
a
Bonds.
like a.
I'll put it on my Instagram right now.
I'm honestly curious, like how many people think. Just say. I just want to say who's the greatest baseball player of all time.
Carter Smile.
I think a lot of people will say Barry Bonds.
Over Babe.
Yeah, but not
Carter-
based on a lot
Carter.
of fact. I think just based off of like
He's a monster.
Carter Smile.
Yeah.
based off image.
Because he's the GOAT. He is the GOAT.
Oh, would you like to argue anything
All
for
the
Willie?
time. But Willie Mays hit in one of the most.
I have nothing on Willie Mays, so I'm not even trying to argue.
But yet you have
he was
you
in
have
the
your Barry
war.
Bonds.
He was in the war the first 2 to 3 years of his career.
There you go.
And he was 100 home runs behind Barry.
Was Barry ever in a war?
No.
no, it's not.
He was
One-
5th all
1-0
time home
Willie.
run leaders. I know. I'm just saying a lot of lists have Willie above. Like I haven't done a ton, but a lot of lists have Willie above Barry.
Well, yeah, and those lists were written by baseball fans that know what an OPS is.
I literally knew what it is. You asked
No,
the
you didn't.
definition, so I'd read it.
Carter,
to you.
straight
Yes,
up.
I did.
I didn't ask. I
Yes,
asked you
I did.
what is OPS, and you had to Google it.
No, I didn't.
Carter, what's OPS right now?
The OPS or OPS plus? OPS plus is on base plus slugging.
No, that's OPS.
No, that is literally OPS plus. Because I just read you the definition. If you'd like to read it, okay, let's read it online again. 'Cause apparently that's what we need to do.
Look, anyone there with a sensible brain.
OPS
knows what
plus
I just
definition:
did.
on base plus slugging.
No, he's not.
I'm not wrong.
Well, hold on. Okay, now this is where you are wrong. On place plus slugging plus. So the OPS is the on base plus slugging. And the plus is just, they called it plus.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No,
how
so
it's
you were
labeled
wrong
on the-
again.
No, it's just labeled on the sheet that way. Right
This is
there.
honestly incredible.
It is honestly
I
incredible.
really enjoy
It
this.
is
An
honestly
entire
It's
episode.
honestly incredible how that
He tried to make an argument.
You can't handle that you're statistically wrong, and so you keep constantly changing your argument.
Statistically,
and then you're
I'm
gonna
right.
Attack me saying
Statistically,
I
I'm
don't know,
right.
Saying I don't know my
Statistically,
own
I'm
facts.
right.
No, you're not right.
Yes, I am.
You're
You
not
think,
right.
You think
Yes,
if
I
there's
am.
a poll between Barry and Babe, I think more people would choose Barry. But I think if you just said who's the greatest baseball player of all
Hunter,
time,
I am
think
so
everyone would say
glad
Babe.
you brought that to the attention of the frenemies.
Like, I don't think anyone would say it. If you just asked who's the greatest baseball player of all time, I think a lot of people would say Babe. But I think if you put them against each other, like, oh shit, Barry Bonds like hit dingers, like they're gonna say Barry.
Yeah, well, look, the New York Post and New York Times, one of those organizations, they put out a poll amongst millennials, people our age, people that have seen Barry Bonds play and, might not know who Babe Ruth is. So this isn't against your old 50 and 60-year-old geezers. These are your millennials. These are, the parents and the young 20-year-olds. Who is the greatest baseball player of all time? 48%, I'll give it to you. It was Barry Bonds. I'll respect it. And then 19% was Babe Ruth. I just think that's incredible that so many millennials think that Babe Ruth was, that high up. Would you agree with that?
Yes, because I'm not Hunter saying Bill Russell is a scrub.
He's
Babe
right.
Ruth is up there.
Yeah, so let me say one thing.
Basketball and baseball are
hold on.
different. Baseball required skill.
Re-
Basketball
re-
tried who's
real
the
quick.
tallest.
Real quick. Hold on.
Wrong.
I need to say this. Carter, I just flat out lied. It was 48% that said Babe Ruth was the GOAT and 19% that said Barry Bonds. Out of millennials, 48% of millennials believe Babe Ruth is the greatest player of all time.
That's great. They're wrong.
They're not wrong.
They are wrong.
They are not wrong.
They are wrong.
They are not wrong. They are wrong about many things, just that they are correct about. They are wrong about tax code. They are wrong about war. They are wrong about morals. They are wrong about ethics. They are right about the GOAT of baseball.
Barry Bonds is the GOAT.
Loved
That's
by
incorrect.
all, revered by most. Jack William.
I am. It's how many people see me.
No, I'm done as well. You two done talking?
That was great.
Let me just go over my points real quick. Higher batting average all time, Babe Ruth. Slugging percentage, Babe Ruth. On base percentage, Mr. Carter brought that one up a lot. Babe Ruth, 30 points higher all time. Home runs, Babe Ruth was 50 shorter. Didn't start his playing career until like half a decade in because he was one of the greatest pitchers of his generation who had 94 wins, career 2.2 ERA, 29 and a third scoreless in the World Series. Barry Bonds barely showed up to play in the World Series. Not to mention Babe Ruth all time.
Hold
on, I'm not done.
Free pass.
Babe Ruth all time.
Times.
Babe Ruth all time, significantly better than Barry Bonds ever was in the playoffs. To top that all off, Babe Ruth saved an entire sport on top of that. It's just honestly so incredible what Babe Ruth did. And then to say dominate a league like Barry
Hearing a
Bonds
lot of
did.
cherries
Let's
right
talk
now.
about how Babe Ruth dominated the league like he did, considering he hit more home runs than every single team in the majors.
Carter,
Thank you.
Your last thing.
There's just so many points that Jackson brings up. I mean, are we am I allowed to mention the Royd era, or should I just do the first
Just
half?
build us.
First
give us
Hall
your
of Fame
cake,
career.
and then we'll finish the episode.
The cake is this: at the peak, like going up and down. He is the greatest peak of all time. The greatest average, the greatest OPS, the greatest home run. He's the first player in the National League, 40 and 40. Yes, he didn't pitch. Babe Ruth is definitely an anomaly for that. Good for him. So proud. In the playoffs, 111 walks. In the playoffs, where games matter, pitching is tight. Pitching is exceptionally
It's so tight
better.
that Babe Ruth threw 29 and a third scoreless. Couldn't agree more.
Shush.
It's exceptionally better.
Babe was exceptionally
Shush.
better.
Hey.
It's exceptionally
Hey.
better. Pitching is exceptionally
that's a
better in the
change-up.
playoffs. Babe Ruth can be the better pitcher. I've never argued that and will never argue that because guess what? Position players don't pitch. I thought we were all on the same wavelength, but clearly not.
Babe Ruth was-
Some of us are a little delusional.
Delusional. That's what you're.
If we're gonna say Babe Ruth
didn't know what
in
an
certain
OPS
in-
was.
if we're gonna say Babe Ruth in certain statistics is better all time than Barry Bonds,
Most statistics.
You're done.
No, not in most statistics. I would say maybe 50-50, 60-40, somewhere along there. That's fine. You can say that about most GOATs in sports, whatever. Barry Bonds, greatest peak of all time, the greatest player, the most talented player we've ever seen. He nuked the league in an era where you actually were supposed to hit home runs when he was facing people throwing above 95 miles an hour, not just in an off-season pickup that you for some reason like to bring up all the time. Not on a loaded team where he's playing with 9 other Hall of Famers on the roster and certain point. That is true. He played with 9 other Hall of Famers.
over career.
It actually may be more. That may be wrong. It may be more than 9. If you can name me one of Barry Bonds' teammates right now, I'll literally give you $100.
Any of his teammates ever?
No, his best teammate. What Google names his best teammate? Because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know this.
I don't know. Just keep going.
Will Clark, ladies and gentlemen. If you know that, hands down to you.
Rick Russell, Kenny Lofton, Will Clark.
Okay. Yeah.
I should have known Lofton.
Because it was in the tail end of his career.
Yeah, that's on me.
But anyway, that's just my point. Is he is the Michael Jordan and the Tom Brady of baseball.
God, that's laughable.
All right.
That's that
Send
game
it, everyone.
To the audience out there, we learned a lot of valuable things today.
That was phenomenal.
Carter learned a lot about Barry Bonds during the episode.
That was phenomenal.
That's not true.
And then on top of that, I am glad that the fourth member of the Frenemies figured out what an OPS was during the
I
episode.
also knew what that was.
He had no idea.
All right.
Yes,
We're done. We're done. Thanks for listening. We'll see you later.